My name is Daryanka. I want to tell you the story of how all my dreams came true. A long time ago, when I was just a little orphan girl, I was adopted by an old widow hunter named Coco Vanya. I had a very little scrawny kitten to keep me company, and the nice old man let me bring it home with us. Home. That was a word I never thought I would know. I was so excited to get to my home. We were not a rich family, but we lived a very happy life together. I always cleaned the cottage and cooked while the old man hunted. I was never lonely because I had my kitten. When Coco Vanya got home at night, he would tell me the most wonderful tales. He knew so many stories and they all made me so happy. But one was my favorite. It was the tale of Silverhoof, the magical goat. As the tale goes, Silverhoof was no ordinary goat. He was special. Instead of having just 2 horns, he had antlers with 5 tines. On his right front foot, he had no ordinary hoof. This hoof was special. It was his silver hoof. When he stamped that hoof, a gem would be there. If he stamped twice, 2 gems would be left. And the magical part, if he pawed at the ground, there would be a whole pile of gems left. I asked Coco Vanya if he ever tried hunting the silver hoof when he went out to hunt. He told me that he tries every single year during the fall to hunt for him. I got so excited. So Silverhoof is real, I told myself. I knew there was magic out there in the world. I begged and begged the old man to take me with him when he went to hunt for Silverhoof that year. I told him I didn't want to be lonely in the cottage that long, but really, I just wanted to see Silverhoof. He told me to pack our things and get the cat. We would leave in the morning. I was so excited to think that I might see the magic goat for myself. The following morning, the old man, me, and my cat, who had grown very strong and gotten much bigger, headed for the woods. We walked and walked for what felt like forever. I wasn't scared because my cat had gotten so big that now she offered us protection if something were to try to get us. After a long time, we finally arrived at a little cabin the old man had in the middle of nowhere in the woods. We got settled in and he left for the first hunt of many to find Silverhoof. Every day I spent cleaning the cabin and cooking the things that he hunted. But it had been weeks and yet still no sign of the magical goat we longed for. Towards the end of the winter, Coco Vanya told me he had hunted so many goats that he needed to go to town to get a horse to help bring back the skins and the meat when we left to go home. He said stay in the cabin and he would be back in a few days to head home. He walked out of the door and headed for town. I was so sad and disappointed because I knew we wouldn't find Silverhoof now. We'd have to wait until next year to come back to hunt him. Maybe he really doesn't exist. Maybe I was silly for even thinking that we would see him, I told myself. I laid down that night with my cat and went to sleep. I woke up the next morning to a pitter-patter sound outside. I looked out and it was Silverhoof. It was him and he was real. I was so excited that I ran outside and called for him, but he ran away. I couldn't wait to tell the old man what I'd seen. The next day my cat went out to play for a while, but when I called for her that evening, she never returned. I went out to search for her, and there in the glade was Silverhoof and my cat. They were nodding back and forth as if they were talking. This was incredible. Silverhoof was back. They ran around the cabin as the goat stamped about, and the ground began to fill with colors. He jumped on the roof and stamped some more. Green, blue, red, purple, yellow, green. So many colors covered the cabin and the snow around it. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. I looked over and saw Coco Vanya had returned. He couldn't believe what he was witnessing. He ran over to me as we watched Silverhoof and my cat jump from the roof and disappear. We stood in awe as we smiled at each other. This was a dream come true for us. I walked back inside and he stayed to fill his hat up with some of the precious gems. We went in, had dinner, and went to sleep. He didn't tell me a story that night. I didn't need one. We both had such wonderful dreams. We awoke and ran back outside to see the wonder, but all the gems had disappeared. We still had the hat filled with them, which was plenty enough for us to live happily for the rest of our lives. We never saw my cat or Silverhoof ever again, but we still go to the cabin every autumn just to see if they appear. Sometimes we walk out and find stones buried in the snow in the glade where they stamped around.